views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome back or welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. Oh, my goodness. How does it get any better than this? It is so great to have all of you here tuning us in, tuning us on. What a great lineup. What a great show we have for you today. Yeah. All aboard, Benny. With Mark Rayner, Understanding Your Conscious and Subconscious Mind. Mr. Benny, all aboard, okay? Are you ready?
Choo-choo.
I'm telling you, it is going to be the Love Boat here today.
Oh, it's going to be one of those cruises. Oh, okay.
It's going to be one of those.
All right.
It's going to be one of those. Because whenever you're talking about the conscious and subconscious mind, it is a big conversation. And you better be willing to open your heart up. You better be willing to lead with your heart. Mark Rayner joining me here today. Many of you know him as the founder of the Rayner Institute. And boy, check it out. You know, if you ever thought about, I think I would like to do something different with my life. And you know what? It is so interesting. Now I'm going to get off on my little tangent here for a minute. I was talking with a woman this morning before my shows, Benny, a woman from New York, very, very successful, works with women all over the world, speaks 24/7. She's all over it. And we were talking about ourselves. How interesting. Right? Subconscious, conscious mind. This is how my subconscious is working now. And we were talking about one of the new channels we're launching and how we had to take the channel down for a moment because we needed to change the name. The name really didn't reflect what we were trying to do. It really didn't reflect what we wanted to talk about. You know, there's so much happening out in the world with our population. Many people like me and Mark. You know, we have had multiple careers. You know, we're not in our 20s. I just want to say, Benny, we're not even in our 30s. Well, maybe Mark is, but I'm not. I'm not in my 30s. And so the question becomes, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? And so my friend and I, we were talking about what we should name the channel. Clearly, it's not going to be the name that we had up, but it doesn't mean it's going to go away. And what we started to talk about is what happens in life. And this is Mark. This is what he helps us with in life. It is more than a ripple effect, but it's the second act and the third act in life. See, so many of us believe there's only one act in life. There's only one shot at success. There's only that moment. There's only that opportunity. And I could go on and on and on with the onlys. And I'm going to tell you, anybody out there got a case of the onlys? Do you have a case of the onlys today? Because today, this amazing, dynamic, creative individual, Mark Rayner, who I knew when he and I met years ago, and we were talking about, he was talking about, I think I want to start like I think I want to start this program so we can help people that want to help themselves, that then want to help other people. I love it. I want to start this thing where people can help themselves, then learn how they can help other people, and then those people can help themselves, which then learn how to help other people. And what are we talking about? You know, this energetic is not even the word for Mark. You know, dad of two sons, right? You know, pilot, sailor, inventor, author, world-class professional speaker, educator. He helps people embrace their enoughness. But more importantly, he coaches people how to become coaches so that they can help other people. And you know what? It is the second and third act. It is a form of profession that I so love out there right now, where it doesn't matter what age you are, you can learn how to help other people. But today, what is it about our conscious and subconscious mind that not only want us to play small, but here's the one, Benny. I know you haven't done this, but I know I have, where we play not to lose. We're not playing to win. We're playing just so we're not to lose while life is going on. So let's join Mark on this venture on the high seas of life so that we can uncover why we are here, what we're doing here, what we really want to do here, and how do we get from here to there. Mark, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pat. Oh, it's always a pleasure being here.
So we had a channel up, and the channel was called Ageless Radio. And none of us really were feeling, we were like, that's a thing people are not going to plug into. But they do want to know about people that have a second act in life, a third act in life, are inspired to live and move beyond regardless of where you are in your life cycle, and help get rid of the ideas that it's too late. And I would love, because you're inviting us to come on and take a journey on the high seas. You're not saying take a journey on the high seas if you're 6'2", look like this, within the ages of 30 and 40 or whatever it is. You're saying where you are in life now. And I would love for you to talk about, right out of the gate, what it is about us that thinks that we just can't because we're not that person anymore.
Oh, I'd love to, Pat. It's an interesting way of looking at life when you say it's either too late or I need to fix a problem before I can have what I want. I need to fix something, and that's an illusion. The illusion is that we're here to fix something so that we can create something, and the reality is, instead of fix something, I say accept something, and then create what you want. So Pat, when we're able to accept what is, we can create what we want in life. Because if we look at nature, the reality is nature's not fixing anything. It's creating. It's creating leaves. It's creating grass. It's nonstop creating, as are our bodies. So if you just look primarily at nature, how does nature perform? What's naturally going on? What's the nature of nature? And the nature of nature is creation. And so for people to say that, I'm not enough, or I can't, and I'm running out of time, and I want more in my life, and I want to do this, and I want to make a difference, and I want to enjoy, and I want to know if this is possible in my life, and I feel like I'm running out of time. And I say simply, is if you look first at what you're not being able to accept in your life. What happened to you, who basically told you weren't enough. Because we come into the world as enough, and then we sort of learn through our environment and through life that we're not, and we're not okay. And then from that, we start to experience not okayness, and then we start to experience it and see it show up in the world. And we establish, which is crazy, but we establish expectations, Pat, that something will be a certain way. I better not do that. No one will want that. I shouldn't do this. No one will want this. That's going to work. That's not going to work. That's going to fail. And so we, and it's easy words. Here's the thing, and I gotta confess right now, is, Pat, I'm looking at LinkedIn, and I'm looking at Facebook, and I'm looking at these things, and they said the 3 steps to freedom, the 4 steps to forgiveness, the 6 steps to, and you read that enough, and you think to yourself, is that what we're down to? That's what it's come down to, is I just need 4 steps. If I just follow these 4 steps, then I'm enough. If I just follow these 6 steps or these 20 steps, then I have the answer, or I have the secret, or I have the hidden message or my value. And for us to need to find something means it's lost. And if it means, or there's a quote I read that said, our who we are and our abundance and our value and our greatness and that which we want in our life is hidden beneath our feet. Well, for something to be hidden beneath our feet, someone's got to hide it. Something's hiding it, and I don't think the universe works that way. And so when we believe we're separate, Pat, when we believe we're not enough, we're going to go into the world and experience that. We're going to see it, and the world will treat us as though we're not enough. The world is going to treat us as though we're not valuable. And you'll find this over and over. It's like a big old Ferris wheel. It just goes around. And the older you are, you'll see this show up in your life. Things go up, things come down. This is good. Oh, here we go. I go from one job, and I leave this job because the people are crazy, and they're negative, and they're frustrating, and they're terrible, and they're dishonest. And you go to another company, it's the same environment, different names, same people, same positions. You go, okay, what just happened here?
Yeah.
Consider you're creating that.
Yeah.
Consider that there might be just something you're creating through a series of beliefs that are stored down deep inside you, which we call subconscious or autonomic brain activity, how that works. Or consider too, maybe some people believe that this is their lot in life, and this is the way life is, and I'm here to suffer. And I don't teach that at the school, Pat. And you and I've talked about this. We help people get what they want in life. So by helping people get what they want, they're able to go into the world and help others get what they want. And how do we do that? We help by identifying their subconscious beliefs, the anchor they're dragging, the things they're worried about, what they think is unsafe about their success or their future, or love. Here's one for you, is love. Mm-hmm. Love is a big thing. Or weight loss. But let's just talk about love. Love, let's say that someone says, well, yeah, I really don't want to find Mrs. Perfect or Mr. Perfect because I once had them and I lost them and it hurt so desperately it almost took me down. And I can't do that again. I would rather be with someone I kind of love. I'd rather settle with someone I kind of like, because if they leave, it's not going to hurt so terribly than if I got the person that I love so dearly and I honored and cherished so greatly that if that person ever left me, it would take me down. So it's not safe.
Mm.
Okay? So
Yeah. I mean, I think what you're talking about is, I love this because we are looking for 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. Right? I mean, didn't we grow up with that? Ready, set, go. Right? Go. 1, 2, 3. 3 steps, 3 this, 3 that. I don't know about you, but I got more than about 3 layers of subconscious gunk. Yeah. That I think is going on inside. I don't know. What do you think? You think maybe?
Well, Pat, here's the thing that I do in the school is there's a lot of science behind conscious, subconscious, conscious, unconscious, autonomic. There's something driving our blood pressure, our heart, our temperature, the saliva we're making, hair, fingernails, skin. Something is doing that. And we have an unconscious system, an autonomic system. And there's a lot of science between conscious, subconscious, prefrontal cortex, the monkey brain, the primal part of our brain. We have all of this science that surrounds us. And what I did was I said, okay, let's just do something simple. So if we did this for the viewers, they're the listeners on this call right now, and we just said, that's why we say the high seas. So let's envision, if we will, a cruise ship, a big, massive cruise ship. And this cruise ship is you. And then what we're doing is we have the conscious mind, like what we can see and hear, is the wheelhouse. That's where the control center is. That's where the windows are. That's where it can see and hear things. And the subconscious is the engine room. Now, on a cruise ship, the thing that controls the electricity is the engine room, controls the water, the power, controls the heating, it controls the propeller, it controls the whole operation of the ship. But the wheelhouse, and this is what we talked with at the beginning, was the main control center is, let's say, is conscious mind, and the wheelhouse is the subconscious, the unconscious mind. Now, the unconscious or the wheelhouse, Pat, is below the water level. It doesn't know what's real and not real. It doesn't know what's true and false. It just goes on experience. So if it's been at sea, and it's been at, let's say it's been at sea and it's been in a storm, and let's say that storm just about took it down. Well, it's not going to want to go on that course again. right? And
No.
so when you talk about 2 or 3 layers deep, we all have this, and even the good stuff, and people that have been harmed emotionally, physically, but even just the people that have just grown up, we all have a wheelhouse, like we all have an engine room. And in the engine room, so we've got another visual I'm going to give you, and that's a journey logbook. And the journey logbook writes down all the things that are safe and aren't safe. So let's say the wheelhouse says, okay, take heading 312, full steam ahead. Nothing happens. And nothing happens. And nothing yells down again. Stands in front of a mirror and says, 312, full steam ahead, tries all these things. Goes on, reads a book on how to get motivated and get going. Goes on dating classes, does all these things on self-esteem, I'm enough, does the 5 steps to this. Nothing seems to be working. And then all of a sudden, the wheelhouse turns to 312, and then all the engines stop. Or even what happens sometimes, Pat, is they may say, you know what, we gotta change the oil on the engines, or this engine wrench happened to fall in the gears, the engines no longer work. We got to fix something. So disease comes in, problems start to develop. Now all of that is designed, which we call as possibly procrastination, and procrastination is protecting us from something. It's protecting us from moving ahead. So if you can, in what we do at the school is we show people that there's an area, a place they want to go in their life, and there's this invisible force that's keeping them from moving forward. And so it's not like you got to drag someone by the collar and drag them across the finish line. You show them how they can effortlessly walk across the finish line in their lives, how they can get what they want when they understand what it is that they want and what about that isn't safe.
I think we all really, I mean, what you're talking about is so beautiful, and the way you just did that is really crystal clear. Because one of the things I heard you say, and it shows up so often than we even like to think about, Mark, is this idea that we have these things that are going on, below sea level, so to speak, these things that are going on that hold us back from whatever that is we want in life. And we have these moments of that desire. Right. We have these moments of, taking our second or third act in life and moving forward in a way that's just amazing. And then sometimes we can't, and we get stuck, and then it exacerbates the problem. But what I hear you saying is that not only do you help people, discover what that is, but then you're also helping people help other people do the same.
Mm-hmm. Finding out what it is that the subconscious is here to protect us, is to keep us so that we can reproduce and to keep us alive and keep us going. And if financial freedom may not be safe because you may believe that it's not safe to have more than others, or you might believe that you'll be rejected, you'll be hated, or people will want to take advantage of you, or there's something down deep. There's something there, Pat. And you're going to do everything in your power consciously to get abundance, and you will be secretly or subconsciously sabotaging that. Same thing in relationships. You're going to sabotage amazing relationships, or you're going to, should I call person A, B, or C, and you pick whatever, and you pick the one that's the most unlikely. There's something going on. You got to say there is something going on here. There is, and it's keeping you safe from that which the engine room doesn't think is safe for you. And because in life we're going to hit some sandbars. And here's the thing too, Pat. When that propeller is not turning in that big cruise ship, it's now adrift. So the winds are pushing it, the current is moving it, and some people's lives end up on the rocks, and they don't know why, but they were scared to move forward. When a propeller's moving on a ship, the rudder starts to work because you have movement. There's water going over the rudder, so now you have direction. You can steer, you can navigate your life to where you want to go. So at the school, we show people how to get what they want in life. We don't force you to get what you want in life. We don't do 6 steps and say you got to do this. We help you identify what you believe. It's the evolution of every person has evolved differently. So what's the evolution of you, Pat? Your evolution is different than my evolution. When we understand that and we can dissolve the truth, we dissolve the falseness around the belief, then what happens is it goes away, just like Santa Claus does. Like we understood eventually that Santa Claus can't get around the world in one night with reindeer or get up and down all the chimneys. So you start to change the story. But there was a time in my life I believed in Santa Claus with all of who I was. So if we can't change beliefs, then I would still believe in Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. So this is the good news. This is for Act 2 and Act 3 in people's lives. If they think that this is their lot in life and this is as good as it gets, they're mistaken.
Wow. If we think that,
yeah,
what are we at risk for?
Getting what we got. All right, just getting a whole lot more of what we got, and that can be kind of a sad thing to say. It's like, are you kidding me? You mean this is it?
Yeah. I mean, for many people, it is like this vicious cycle that we go in, right, Mark?
Yeah.
And what you just clarified for people is sort of what's going on. Why the cycle is really endless. Why it's kind of like this thing that just keeps us chasing our tail. That's one way that people have explained it. The word stuck, when I Googled the word stuck about 10 years ago, it had a number of related links to it. Now there are millions and millions and millions because people are feeling so stuck in many, many aspects of their lives. And, what I'm hearing you say is, which is so very important for everybody, tuning into the show, is that we're going to keep getting more of the same. We're just going to keep getting more of the same if we're not really understanding, what's going on beneath the surface, what's going on in the wheelhouse, what's going on. And I want to ask you this question because behaviorally, these characteristics show up behaviorally, right? And I think, for people listening, they're thinking, well, I think I got some of that, but let's talk about some behavioral outcomes that happen when we don't really have a good sense on what's going on beneath the surface.
Oh, great question, because we, again, at the Rayner Institute, we teach that all behavior makes perfect sense. So if you really want to know what you believe in the engine room down deep in your subconscious, take a look at what you do and you don't do, what you're attracted to and what you stay away from. So it's a little bit like the cookie crumbs that will lead you back to the belief. And that's why this work can't be done alone. It's really difficult for the eye to see itself or the brain to understand the brain from various aspects. But if we had somebody that can help walk us through, that we could understand what it is we believe by discovering the evolution of who we are and why we are where we are and why we behave the way we behave, then we can start to get our hands on the controls. Now that leads us back up to the wheelhouse. How do we get our hands on the controls versus sending audible commands down to the subconscious? How can we actually get our hands on the controls and get what we want in life so that we can go into the world and show others how they can do that, and then they can do that, and they can do that? Suffering is mandatory, but I think suffering is optional. For most people, we think, well, it's just life is hard. Life is difficult. But behaviorally, Pat, if we take a look at what we do and don't do and how we behave in our lives, it will show, it points back to what we believe. We may believe at a deep level we're powerless. So we're going to work for powerful people. We're going to marry powerful, demanding, overwhelming people. We're going to be in situations where we're powerless. Well, guess what? You believe you're powerless. So with beliefs create expectations. So if I believe that these type of people are bad, I will walk into a situation, and sure enough, they'll start to be that bad. I start to establish expectations of the way the world will show up to me. And we have this saying in school: if I believe I'm powerless, I'm powerless thoughts. I'm going to have powerless emotions. I'm powerless actions in the world. I'm going to show up, and the world's going to treat me as though I'm powerless. And then that comes back to support the belief that now it's true because I have proof that I'm powerless.
Right.
And so our actions go into the world to prove our beliefs true.
Yeah. And you know what I love about this is that we have spent time and money on research. And there's nothing more powerful. And I think it's one of my favorite studies ever done. And albeit, it's come under some criticism from folks, but it's one of the first studies ever done on a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what I love about that original study, and of course it's been studied over and over and over again, that we come to the conclusion every time, exactly like Mark said, if you believe it, you will conceive it, and then you will achieve it. So if each of us can believe we are a failure, or that we are a this or a that, then what happens with that is we reinforce ourselves because it actually shows up. And what's the famous last words we say to each other, Mark? See, Mark, I told you. You so. I told you. I told you I was not going to be able to drive that stick shift car that my daddy got me. Told you I'm not going to be able to drive it. And lo and behold, now that car is sitting in a Puget Sound. Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with the show. Understanding your conscious and subconscious mind. When we come back, we're going to give you some information about the Institute, how you can find out more. And what does this mean in the scheme of life? When we're looking at what we believe in, and perhaps where's the confusion? Well, I thought I believed in success, but what is your subconscious really thinking? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Baby, now we got bad blood. It used to be mad love. So take a look what you've done. 'Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Did you have to do this? I was thinking that you could be trusted. Did you?
We spend nearly a third of our life on the astral plane. Why not leverage it? Go deeper and learn more with Len Brown and Wendy R. Wolf. Join us at the Buddha Playhouse and Cafe in Bellevue, August 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. for basic tools and 7 to 9 p.m. for astral body basics. For more information, email lynn@letteruintuit.com or visit the website at letteruintuit.com.
Tune in to Prescience Life Radio with host Mia Simone. Mia is devoted to sharing her extensive knowledge on the invisible worlds of energy. Join Mia and discover the science of intuition and connect with your greatest gift. Start living in your potential today and every day by opening up to the power of inner knowledge. To learn more about Mia, visit presciencelife.com.
Do you want the freedom to spend more time with your loved ones? Travel the world? Live spontaneously? Get ready, because the Chip Justice Show is here. Hosts Dr. Pat Baccili and Chip Justice can help you build meaningful success while embracing life. Living a life you love is the end game in this new, inspirational, and empowering show. Positive changes for a life you'll love. Tune in every month on TransformationTalkRadio.com and visit PositiveChangeInstitute.co for more information.
Artie Hoffman is the hottest psychic with the warmest heart and the host of the hit show Angels and Answers. A renowned psychic, medium, spiritual life coach, and an entertaining motivational speaker, Artie has helped over 15,000 people with his amazing intuitive gifts, his passion, and his humor. Call 877-ANGEL-02 to schedule a personal reading or to have your own psychic Artie party. That's 877-ANGEL-02. And visit artiehoffman.com and Angels and Answers on Facebook.
My dream is to end homelessness.
My passion is living a green life.
My dream is to end poverty.
My passion is volunteering.
My passion is making a difference.
My dream is to cure Lyme disease.
My passion is rebuilding communities.
My passion is helping those in need.
My passion is caring for the elderly.
My dream is to find a cure for cancer.
My dream is to leave a better world for my children.
We all have that special passion, that lifelong dream that drives us to live our lives with meaning and to create a better world. No matter what drives you, we can all make an impact. Dr. Pat Baccili is helping others make their dreams come true, so we can all help make our world a better world.
To learn more about how Dr. Pat is building a community of sharing hope, strength, funds, knowledge, and information, visit abetterworldcrowdfunding.com today. That's abetterworldcrowdfunding.com.
Wow, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. Welcome back to Transformation Talk Radio. And please take a sneak peek at the soon-to-be launched transformationradio.fm. If you go over there, you can poke around. It's our beta site. We're making changes every day. Our technology is being developed, and it's based on what you all have been asking for. Almost everything that you see right now in the way that we look and we feel has come from our listeners, our hosts and our co-hosts and our sponsors. I mean, we have heard what they've said. And on April 1st, we literally, flipped a switch from old to new. We didn't rebuild anything. And people have asked us, how did that even happen without the crashing and the this and the that? Well, I want to tell you, the crashing did happen. We just had a backup plan. We had a plan that said, even if we do blow out that dedicated server with all of the people that came to the site, we had a plan B. And so now in the fall, we're going to be showing you a little bit more about a network that you all helped create. I'm very, very blessed, and we listen to you. If you sent an email to info@thedrpatshow.com, we have gotten it, and it's highly likely that we have sent you an email back and have thanked you for it. If we haven't, email us again. And, my friend Mark is like that as well. He's with us here for a reason, because he's passionate, he's purposeful, and he is someone that believes in helping others, help themselves, and then help others. And that is really not, a soundbite. That is really an idea. That's called paying forward human potential. That's what I call it. But today, how do you do that if we do not understand our conscious and subconscious minds? And by the way, we talk about the Mark as if they are separate, but there's a dynamic. Before we get into that, would you mind just taking a moment and telling folks about the Institute, give out your website, and please tell them about the coaching platform that you've created for people?
Sure, I'd love to. All right. Well, the Rayner Institute, and it's www.rayner, R-A-Y-N-E-R, institute.com. And here is the work of many, and many that have come before us in standing on the shoulders of some great scientists. And we've taken coaching and we've taken mentoring into the sciences of how does this work, why are we the way we are, why do we think the way we do, and why is it so difficult sometimes to get where we want to go in life. So I came up with an idea. Well, a big thing for me, Pat, was when I was 13, 14 years old. My father passed away, and my father was always the hard luck. Like, he'd start this business and would collapse, and start this, and he struggled his whole life, and I wanted to know why. Some people struggle so greatly in their lives, and others seem to breeze through life. And so I went on a mission for 30-some years, doing a lot of self-help stuff, doing a lot of reading, finding out things that worked and didn't work, and I found a lot of dead ends. And I got to a place in my life, there had to be a better way. There has to be a process of which the human potential can be realized. How can people really get what they want in life? Really, no kidding, get what they want in life. And it's not by hoping and wishing and lucky's rabbit's foots and different things and 6 steps to something. Because I'll tell you what, if you're trying to do, what we discovered is that if our clients, our students, have been believing that they're not enough, but they're reading the book on how to be enough and it's the 6 steps, you're wasting your money, because the engine room and down below, that subconscious says you're not enough. Therefore, guess what? You're not enough. Mm-hmm. So the school created a model called the Self-Actualized Coach Mentor Training Model, and it's a tetrahedron, and it goes through a conversation from one tetrahedron to another. So on one area, at the beginning, we learn how to heal and accept what is, and then we get to learn to create what it is we want in life. So it's not a lot, not the 3 steps to. It's simply learning to accept your greatness, accept that you believe what you believe, dissolve the falseness around your truth that supports that belief, move into what it is you want, and do little steps to see that it's okay to get what it is you want in your life. And so what we developed at the school was a process. It's hands-on, it's live training, and so you're interacting. And then you go into the world and you try these exercises out for yourself. And from that, there are people that get their ship moving. They get themselves moving, even if it's just one little revolution, but there's movement. Mm-hmm. And they realize and they can see how they can step towards what they want. They can go from island A to island B because it's okay. And here's the thing too, Pat. Sometimes we believe, there are people that believe it's not okay to be okay. And you and I had a radio show about that earlier.
Yeah.
It is okay to be okay. And not a lot of people grow up with a lot of trauma in their life, and the parents have trauma, and people are like, it's not okay to be okay, and did you see what this person did, and did you see what they said, and did you see how they served us, and did you see how they're not okay? And here's the thing, is it's okay, it's safe, it's natural, it's normal to be okay. It's natural, it's normal to be successful and be abundant. It's okay. You can have these things. You don't have to live in lack. You don't need the drama. You don't have to have the story. It really is okay for you to have what you want in life, and we can show you how to do that at the school.
Mm. One of the things that I want to talk about is, and I want to jump back to this as well, because only you can talk about this in this way. I know, Mark, when you and I talked, I don't know, it was like 8 years ago maybe, this was a vision and an idea. Now it's not. Now it's an award-winning school, a number one school, so I want to talk about this from a couple of different points of view. One is, how does your own personal journey mimic or parallel what you've created in the school?
That's a fantastic question, because we at the school and with the facilitators, as we walk our talk, we live what we teach. Mm-hmm. And the school is moving into the fifth continent now in teaching. Our growth is constant. Our growth is consistent as we're moving up. And one of the things that's true is we stand. It's like, let your yes be yes and your no be no, and you stand in who you are, because you know that what you do is making a difference and is helping others. And it's the way I live my life is to be more authentic, to be more real, to be more genuine every day that I can. And that comes from the teaching. So I mimic what I teach as to the other facilitators. And it's not we better not, and we better live under this rule, and there's this discipline. It's natural and normal, to be honest. It's natural and normal to be okay. It's natural and normal to bend down and pick up garbage off the street because you see it there. Because a lot of times we look at it and say, hey, I didn't litter. Why should I pick that up? I didn't do that. Why should I do this? And we also teach that it's okay to love, not love to be loved. And it's okay to give, not give to receive. And it brings so much light to a person's life. And where they feel closed up, they feel like they're protecting themselves or realizing it's safe to come out of the cage, and that life really is okay. And it really is okay to be okay. And so the big thing for me in this journey of the school, Pat, and you've been with me since the beginning, is I found my enoughness. I found that it's okay to be me, it's okay to be who I am, and not from an arrogant standpoint saying, look at who I am, but from a humble place of saying, look who I am, that there are so many people could be so much better than they are. And not coming from a standpoint of, you're better than this. It's coming from a standpoint that you have capacity beyond your wildest dreams. It's like the beggar sitting on the box full of gold with a cup out looking for handouts. Mm-hmm. He's sitting on gold. He's sitting on his value. We have that. So you really are better than this. Mm. You're selling yourself short. There are a lot of people selling themselves short, sitting around wishing and hoping life would be different. While meanwhile, their engine in their engine room isn't turning, and they're hoping that the current delivers them somewhere where it's going to be kind, and they're hoping they don't end up on the rocks in life.
Right.
And it happens. And so we show you it's okay just to get that engine room going again. Because there was a time in your life where you ran into a sandbar or you went into a storm and you just about sunk, and it was good, and it hurt. So I'm not doing that again. And I'm sure you've heard people say this, I'll never do that again. and they say that with such conviction, it
I've
goes in
done
the
it.
journal.
I've done it. I've said
I'll never do that again, Pat.
Come on, let's be some truth telling here.
Okay.
I've sat down and I've said I am never going to sit there and eat that half gallon of that whatever ice cream.
Yeah.
I am just, oh my God, I feel so awful. I'm never going to do that again until what? Next time. But we do it over and over and over again. What I love about what you're talking about, Mark, is this. There are programs, coaching programs out there, and that really, are out there, and we're going to help you be a coach. But very few of them have an introspective look that help people really discover what's going on within themselves. See, and that's why you are like the number one coaching program, because, or platform or school or institute, Rayner Institute. It's because of what we're talking about today. See, it's not going to be enough for us to show up and just go through the motion of, okay, I'm the coach now, and step 1 is this, step 2 is this. No. People are wanting more now, Mark. You and I were talking about this during the break. The day of the give me $10,000 for steps 1, 2, and 3, buy the CD series, do all of the above, those days are gone. People are not really at a place where they have their glasses on and they can't see. Folks that listen to this show are affluent, they're educated, they're sophisticated, and they love life. And they've told me that. And they don't always know how to live it from a place of love and growth, of prosperity and abundance. And see, what you're creating is not just a platform for coaches. You're creating a platform for successful coaches, because the journey is going to begin within.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing you say. And if you're not going to do it from the inside out, don't bother. I mean, that's just my experience. I'm just saying right there.
You're right. If we're going to work on the surface, we're not going to see any change in our life. It is from the inside out, and it's not a battle, and it's not surgery. You don't have to tear things out. Just understand what it is you believe. We look at the world, Pat, and there's a lot of information. We can say there's quite a bit of information. Well, I've discovered there's a tremendous there's too much information. So we're at a place we don't need more information.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wanted to be a coach, go buy a book. Go buy a book and read about it. Like go read a book. It's $19.95. Boom, you're a coach.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Right.
And we look at self-help programs too. There's the self-help programs. If they worked, if these 12 steps really worked, we wouldn't need so many of them, Pat.
No, we wouldn't. And that's really not what we're doing. And we have many of them. What I'm excited about and encouraged about is what you and I are talking about now. And that is, we now have a level of authenticity that's showing up. And let me just tell you what I mean by that. Your coaching platform, the Rayner Institute, that is like right there, because it was born out of a level of authenticity. And I know this, Mark. Many people may not know this, but I know what you went through before even creating it. You know what I mean? I know how thorough and thoughtful you were as you walked this journey and had this vision, right? I know what you did. You shared it with me. You took time to prepare. You took thought. You took time. You did research. And you said, you know what? These things work. These things don't. And then there you were. And what I love about your journey, and I love about, your vision, is you went from where you were to where you are today very quickly. And you are, and the Institute is, creating some of the most inspiring and success-oriented people, but success on both the inside and out. And I wanted to ask you, what is it that you feel or have you found that folks really want to achieve now? Because you've got students coming through. What are they wanting to contribute to the world now, Mark?
They want to make a difference. They come to the school And it's like they come to the school for certification with the International Coach Federation. We're licensed throughout the world. And they come for one thing and they leave with the ability to make a difference in the world. And we're wanting to work with the wounded warriors here, Pat, the soldiers, because they want to give back. They want to be contributing people in society. They want to be able to give back to their fellow soldiers, their fellow uniforms. So I find that the students that come to the school, they're all ages. Our youngest has probably been 20, 21 years old, picked up the model really quickly, flies with it. And we have people that are in their 60s take the program so far. And they're coming to no kidding make a difference. And they really liked the self-actualization component, because what does that mean? And really at the end of the day, it means I'm okay. And if we really can stand in our own okayness, regardless of what our parents or our coaches or our teachers or somebody said to us, that you know what, you're never going to make anything of your life, or you know what, you're not really much, or you know what, you're no good, you know what, you're an idiot. You understand that you live from the standpoint that you've been living that story, that script someone else wrote for you. They get their hands on the controls, and they find out they're enough, and they find out they're okay. And in having that in our wheelhouse, the engine room and the wheelhouse now are connected, and it's like, you want to go ahead, let's go. So you establish that connection, and they get to go out into the world and make a difference in people's lives, because they know what it feels like to be in, like you said, that rut, to feel stuck, to have no direction, to have no movement forward. And once they do, and they see new worlds and new possibilities, they want others to, and they want to stand on the tops of the hills and say, you got to do this. Just do it. You got it, because you're better than this. You got so much potential. You have so much capacity to do so much. And you're not, because you're afraid of something. You're afraid of success. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of rejection. Let it go.
There's so many things that, I know that we probably have touched upon, but one of the things that I think is so important is, how we began the show, Mark, and talking about the conscious and subconscious. Many of us really look at, and, we look at the things in our lives and we think we know. And we're so eager to let the world know we know. But what I'm finding these days is how much I don't know and how willing I am not to know it. And I wanted to ask you about trust, because if we're going to go into the realm of the subconscious, there are many, many layers of trust that show up. And I'd love for you to talk about that. What would we say to folks that want to change their lives? What is it that they can count on? And trust is an interesting word, because it does have to do with the things that we do count on showing up as we think they're going to show up. But really, isn't this conversation about having trust in those things that are not going to show up necessarily the way we want, but even better?
Right. Okay. I think the big thing that we do, the cornerstone of our school, what we do is we create a safe environment. Mm-hmm. And that safe environment fosters trust. So the analogy I like to use too is, let's say there's an animal in the trees, and there's this meadow, and it was once out at the meadow, but it was shot at, and it doesn't want to come back out into the meadow. So we say, come on out for a moment, go back. And people will do that, Pat. They'll come out of their fear, and they'll come into, they'll do something, that they'll say something in class. Maybe some students are on video for the first time, and then we'll say, you'll go, hey, I want to turn my video off. Great. We establish trust. We create a trusting environment because it's safe. And we talk about this too. This is a safe environment for you to learn how to coach, for you to ask questions, for you to say, I wonder why. Okay? So,
yeah. And part of that wondering why is not just trust in the thing, but also trust in the process. and trusting in our own ability to discover, right, Mark? I mean, that too is what we're talking about, isn't it?
It is.
Trusting ourselves.
It's trusting, and it's in a safe environment. Here's the thing: is for some people they'll take a risk, and the risk is, I'm going to tell you something here I've never told anyone, and that's I'm scared, or I'm going to tell you something I'm not sure, or I'm a little lost, or I'm struggling with my. It's easier to tell people where we want to go in life, Pat, than it is to tell them where we are currently. For someone to say, and so for us to create that trusting environment where people can say in our classrooms, my boat is stuck in the mud, and I can't seem to get my engines running, and I don't know, and I know where I want to go, but I don't know how to get there. Where do we start? And in the school, people come for information about life and about coaching, and they leave transformed. And transformation might be an overused statement, but I read a long time ago, we don't need information anymore. We now need transformation.
Yeah.
And people are stuck. People are scared. I think 8 out of 10 people around this planet are terrified. They're scared of failure, scared of not fitting in. Look at the way we dress. Look at the things we do. We're trying to fit in because we're scared of not fitting in. So we're being driven by fear. So if you step into self-actualization where you feel safe and secure and okay, life looks different. There are other options that open up to us, other possibilities. We have the courage now to walk away from a job that's not serving us, or relationships, and it's okay to do it. We're not doing it to prove a point. We're doing it to let go of what it is we're holding on to because we think what we're holding on to we need, but really what we're holding on to in life is dragging us down.
Wow. You know, I for so many people listening, I mean, what we're talking about here is, you know, a way up. Because we do have that drag down feeling in so many ways. And, you know, the part of this that I love is that is not a place that we have to stay. And, you know, we've gone through some tough years. And I don't take those lightly. I know exactly what that's like, you know, for folks to go through that. But I have a sense too, you know, I'm an optimist, and I'd love to hear you talk about this in closing. I have a sense that people are much more than they think they are, much more than they think they are. And I think you give them a way to really step into that. Thank you for today, Mark. And I have one last question for you, and please let folks know how to find out more about you. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
I would like to say with people that it's okay to move forward. It's okay to step towards what it is you want in life. And if you're finding a lot of resistance, spend quiet time with yourself and ask yourself, what belief do I hold that this behavior is proving true? So again, I'm going to say that is, what do I believe that this behavior that I'm currently experiencing is proving true? Dissolve that belief and your life will change. Wow.
Thanks, Mark. Please give out your website again, if you don't mind.
I will. It's www.Rayner Institute. That's Rayner Institute.com.
What a great, great conversation. I love this because now we can take action on our own behalf and, you know, get ready for the second, third, and fourth act in life. That's what it is. Thank you so much, Mark. Great show.
Thank you, Pat. Oh, thank you very much.
Wow. I want to thank all of you for tuning us in, turning us on. I want to thank Benny for pushing all the right buttons. If you have missed any part of this, you definitely will be able to get it on iTunes, or you can go to the drpatshow.com and look at our archives. Or you can just go to iTunes and sign up for the podcast, and you'll get it just automatically right there. Also at Transformation Talk Radio, everybody. Let's know that Transformation Talk Radio, we got another hour of it coming right up. So stay tuned, everyone.